Hi guys, MG Steve here with a quick Starlink update. Sorry for the very rough and ready video this week. Just work's been an absolute madhouse for the last week or so, and I haven't really got the time to do a proper video, unfortunately. But as you can see from the video there, Dishy McFlatface is up and where it should be now. It's at the apex of my garage roof. If you watched the video that I did last time, it was installed. I tried it both on the floor in the garden and then on the roof in the on the roof of the summer house, and that got me about 160 meg down. Put it up there, and I think the best I've got is around 320. I think if I just go back to the that's a speed test that I've literally just done. I'll run it again now anyway. And the weather at the moment is a bit windy out there. It's not particularly great weather-wise. So the dish does wobble about a bit in the wind, but as you can see, it's oh wow. Okay. From a very ropey start, that ended up pretty damn good. The upload speed normally tails off a bit as you go along, as it is now, but still that's not too bad. That is literally about the second fastest speed test I've done in the last couple of weeks. Right, if I go to my history, yeah, the best I got was 312 basically, and that was 307. This is one thing with Starlink. It's not a constant speed like your normal broadband, of course. It's very up and down. And one of the reasons for that is the number of satellites that are overhead. So one of the common things that gets pointed out with satellite internet is that the speed you get depends on how many other people are also talking to the satellite at the same time, which is absolutely right. Each of the Starlink satellites has a maximum bandwidth that is shared across all of the connections to that satellite. Now, us in the UK, we're very fortunate in so much that we're right at the top edge of Starlink's coverage. So what you find is a lot of the satellites all have different orbits around the Earth. Some will be going kind of down from top left to top right. Some will be coming up from bottom left up to top right, and various variations of that. But what it means is that the top edge of those orbits all tends to be around the UK. So we actually get spoilt for coverage here. So I don't know how Starlink kind of load balances between the different satellites, because I'm here in the West Midlands. There's quite a few there that are within coverage right now, and the dish can see, I think it's 180 degrees either side of the dish. It can see a huge amount of sky, and the dish doesn't have to tilt that much to actually communicate to a satellite because of the way that the phased array works. So if I zoom out, you can see the southern latitude. You don't have to go too far south before you start getting patches. Like, for example, Madrid there wouldn't be in coverage. Parts of Italy up there would be out of coverage at the moment. You can see whether the new launches have gone, because you can see them all right next to each other. You can see there's great swathes from Mexico there without coverage. There's great big holes in the States as well. So us in the UK, we are spoilt for coverage, to be fair. Like, you can see I've got my PFSense box here. I will do a video just kind of detailing how I've done all this. But if we look at the gateway logs, I think I've forgotten where it is now. I really should have loaded up the no, that's right, system logs gateways. When the alarm latency kicks in, that's when it's basically lost a connection, and then the clear latency is when it's come back up. Now, normally, it's down 1 minute, and then literally within a minute it's back up again. So you don't get dropouts for very long, and normally it's not long enough to actually stop a video from being streamed. Like we watch films on Netflix. I've routed my PlayStation 4 into using the peer-to-peer sensor as a gateway, so it will go out through Starlink, and we very rarely get a drop in the connection. Ironically, iPlayer seems to be the worst for this, but YouTube seems to be fine. Netflix seems to be fine, and for work I've been using Teams and Zoom. Those, of course, if you have a breaking connection, you just lose connection. Again, they'll normally recover okay. You don't get kicked out the call type of thing. But that's one thing to bear in mind if you're working from home on Zoom calls a lot, team calls a lot, especially if you've got an IP phone. Starlink's probably not, in the beta stages now, it's probably not the connection for you. Just purely from the fact that you will have periods where it will just drop the connection. But apart from that, absolutely fine. So to answer a few of the quick questions that I've seen in the comments, cost-wise, for the dish, it's 500 quid up front, then it's 90 quid a month, or 89 quid a month to be kind of pedantic. And it's a rolling monthly contract, so you don't have to sign up for like 12 months or anything like that, and you've got the first 30 days from when they ship out the dish to decide if you want it or not. And if you don't want it, you can just, I presume you can just send it back. You just need to tell SpaceX that you don't want it, and they'll and then you get a full refund. I would presume they want the dish back, because the dish is not particularly cheap to make. Apparently it costs about $2,500 to make a dish. So they're making quite a loss on them at the moment. But yeah, so that's the kind of cost. It's not cheap, but to be fair, where I am, I'm not really the target audience for this. The target audiences are those in rural connections that struggle to get broadband at all. I mean, here in Wolverhampton, our BT line, as you saw in the last video, is about 30-ish meg. I mean, even if you use a 4G based connection, you're still getting a reasonably good speed. But if you're out in the sticks, struggle to get ADSL, this is a perfect solution. So as far as the majority of the UK is concerned, and even Europe, to be fair, it is an expensive option. But compared to having no internet at all, or very bad internet, it's still it's about the only option you'll actually have. Secondly, well, the main thing, would I recommend you buying it at the moment? Yes, if you have almost no options for broadband, and yes, if the broadband you have got is really bad. If you've got any likelihood of a better connection, since installing Starlink, I now know that the date for our gigabit installation around here is going to be about June time, but because we live on the end of a shared road, there's no guarantee that I'll actually be able to get it anyway. But for 90 quid a month, it's a little bit too steep. I mean, yeah, it is supremely fast, and it's really nice to be on really fast broadband, but 90 quid's a bit steep, to be fair, in my particular situation. UK ground stations, right, when I go out onto the internet, everything basically appears to come out from the single IP address. So if I do, what is my IP address? That seems to be the IP address that all Starlink connections in the UK come from. I'll say that from a survey of 2. But I notice I can see somebody at work logging onto the system that I look after from that IP address. So I guess they've also got a Starlink connection. Ironically, on some IP databases that comes up as Slovakia. So I guess it's probably just an old IP database, but on the new ones, it's geolocated into the UK, about there. So that might be where the ground station is for Starlink in the UK. So Stephen at UK says the five things to consider with satellite internet is cost. Yep, I've already gone through that. 2, speed, highly dependent on the weather. I actually disagree with this one, primarily because I've used it in the rain, in the wind. It's been quite windy here today, and it's been fine. There's been no speed issues at all with it. It needs a clear view of the sky. Yes, we know that, and the speed depends on the number of users. Yes, I've already gone over that, and speed will not be consistent. Yeah, I've already mentioned that as well, so that's fine. So about the switch itself. I really should have done a bit more preparation for this. Right, if I bring up a picture of the Wi-Fi box. Okay, just switch it off. Sorry. As you can see, the Wi-Fi box has 2 plugs at the back. At the back of it, one goes off to the dish that goes into the back of the power supply, and then the other one is an aux one. So you can connect over Wi-Fi. That's fine. That will work fine. And the other one I've got plugged into my PSense box, but you could equally plug that into a hub or a switch if you want to connect more than one computer to it. So yeah, it's only got one plug on it, but if you do need to connect it to more than one device, just connect all those devices into a network switch, and then just connect the Wi-Fi box into the network switch. It also acts as a DHCP server as well. So that's basically it. So yeah, my experience over the last week it's been absolutely fine, to be fair. I can't really say much more than that. The main issue is, if you do use IP phones, it's not going to work for you because you'll just drop calls when it loses connection to the internet. But if you streaming stuff, if it's live stuff, then you are, like if you're watching if you're watching like sports and things like that, it obviously can't buffer a minute's worth of that, because you'd always be a minute behind the live sport. So if you're watching live stuff, then it will obviously pause when it loses connection. But if you're streaming films and stuff, the players tend to buffer like 30 seconds to a minute's worth of it before you see it. So it will cope with gaps in the reception. So yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them into the comments. So sorry that the video has been a bit rough and ready today, but I hope hopefully be able to do a more in-depth one and a better one over the next week or so, and I'll confirm whether indeed I am keeping it or not. Okay, I've been MG Steve, and thanks for listening. Goodbye.